What's up, you guys? It's your girl, Mika Chanel, back with another edition of Mika Chanel is Just Saying. Okay, tonight we're talking about the Real Housewives of Orange County, Season 10, Reunion number 1. What did you guys think about the reunion that came on last night? I thought it was pretty boring. Honestly, it was very boring, but we're going to talk about it anyway today. Hold on, let me fix my shirt, get it all straightened out. Ooh, look at that little hole right there. Okay. All right, y'all. Oh, well. Oh, well, it's probably going to mess up again throughout this video. Anyways, you guys, I thought the reunion was boring, but I'm just going to discuss it anyway because I'm sure next week is going to be better, and I don't want to skip a week. So anyway, fashions, I think all of the ladies looked pretty much the same way they look on the show. You know, they pretty much dress up when they go out for dinners and things like that, and they pretty much had on the same type of clothes that they would wear to a regular dinner. They had on their makeup. That's one thing I've noticed about the Housewives. The Real Housewives of New Jersey and the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Probably Atlanta first and then New Jersey. Those seem to be the most high maintenance of the housewives to me, especially Atlanta. I mean, really, they seem to be very, very high maintenance as far as like, you know, makeup and clothes. But I find like the ladies, the California ladies who you would think would be more high maintenance, which they probably are, as far as like purchasing things. But I don't know, they just don't seem all like dressy at these reunions. You know, they just seem like normally how they would normally dress when they go out to a nice event. And I don't know, Atlanta just be over the top with it, y'all. Anyway, so like I said, the ladies pretty much look the same way as they look on the show, going out to a regular dinner. They open up talking about Meghan and how hard it is to be a new stepmom and everything. Hold on, let me get this little piece here because it's irritating me. They open up, you know, with her about how hard it is being a stepmom, and they show like the clips of like, you know, Vicki saying things about her. And Tamara also saying things about her. You remember how they felt some kind of way about her saying that she wishes that she was the biological mother of her stepchildren, you know what I mean? And that offended Vicki and it offended Tamara. And Vicki was just saying, like, you know, the love that you have for your stepchildren is going to be different from the love that you have for your biological children. And Vicki just felt like it wasn't appropriate. But then Vicki starts talking in circles a little bit. She's like, you know, my sisters are no, because I think Meghan said something about, well, that doesn't mean that I can't love them, you know what I'm saying, the same or whatever. And Vicki has said something about, well, no, you can, because, you know, my sisters are adopted and my mother loved us all the same. And then Meghan's like, well, that's my point. And she's like, no, but I mean, I'm sure that my mom, you know what I'm saying, had some sort of feelings towards these two than she did for the other kids or whatever. And then it's like, okay, now you're talking in circles, Vicki. Like, I just think that she didn't really have a response for the question. And I think that she just started talking, which is kind of what Vicki does anyway. She just kind of starts talking. And sometimes she makes sense and sometimes she doesn't. I just think like during the season when they're filming, I think that she just tries to give some of the ladies a hard time. I definitely think she was trying to give Meghan a hard time. The same way that she does with all of the new girls that come on to this show. So I really, I really don't think that what she thought and felt at the time that whole scene happened, I don't think that that's really how she really feels, honestly. I just think sometimes Vicki just talks just to hear herself talk. But Tamara, on the other hand, was saying like, you know, there is a difference between stepchildren and biological children, she was saying, because when you know, her first husband, Simon, she had already had Ryan, you know, and she was like, you know, Simon loved Ryan, but when we started having our children, you know, you can definitely see a difference and you can tell, you know, the difference in his feelings toward all the children or whatever. So, and I mean, honestly, I would think that would be kind of true because, there's nothing like carrying a baby inside of you, feeling it move around, and just going through that whole process through the 10 months that you're pregnant. And then, you know, going through the whole childbirth. And that's not to say that someone that doesn't carry a child or adopts a child, gets a surrogate, whatever, isn't any more of a mother or parent in general. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any stepchildren. And I have one biological daughter, and but I don't know. I would just imagine that it would be different. Like, I couldn't imagine like the deep feelings that I have for my daughter, my daughter. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna say my biological daughter, but I don't have any stepkids, so I just have one daughter. You know, I don't know, because I felt like I had that bonding with her. Then I nursed her for 8 months. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I just couldn't imagine. But I mean, people do it all the time. People adopt all the time. People have surrogates all the time for one reason or the other. You know, so I mean, I don't want to take away from them, you know, them being parents or anything like that. You know, I don't know. Anyways, I just went all off on a tangent. I didn't mean to go all into all that. But yeah, that's kind of what they were talking about. And then Andy asked Heather if she's breaking the girl code by continuing to be friends with both Meghan and Jim's ex-wife. And we talked about this in a different video. And Heather says she doesn't feel like she is breaking girl code because the reason that Jim and his second wife split had nothing to do with Meghan. So she feels like, you know, she's not breaking girl code because they are friends with Jim. And because he's now married to Meghan, they're cool with Meghan or whatever. But if Meghan had been the reason for the split, then she says she probably wouldn't be able to be friends with Meghan or whatever. So, and then Meghan goes, well, you know, it's okay because I don't talk about her to Heather, or, you know, I don't talk about her at all. And then Shannon's like, oh, but I'm not trying to start a mess, but you did say something mean about her. You said that she was evil and that her kids would agree with you on that or whatever. I guess on social media or something, somewhere she said this. And Meghan's like, yeah, I did say that. And then Heather jumps in, and Heather's just like, you know what? You never say anything about your husband's the mother of your husband's kids. Like, I don't care how you feel, you just don't say it. And I agree. You don't need to say it. I mean, you might say whatever you want to say in private to your girls or whatever. You don't put that out there to, especially not on social media. I mean, you just don't. That's just something that you just don't want to do. You don't want, I mean, one, it's going to make your stepkids probably feel some type of way about you if they're old enough to know what's going on. And two, like, you know, that was the person that your husband chose to be with at that time. And what does that say about you? You know what I'm saying? Because people tend to, you know what I'm saying, like what they like and kind of find the similarities in the different people that they date. You know what I mean? So what does that say about you? I mean, we already know your ass is evil. So, hey, you know. So I guess it's true. He has a type. He has the evil type. Then they talk about how Heather said that no. Then they talk about how Vicki was judging the ladies when they were at the jewelry store. You know, because they were just talking about Jim and Meghan and her being young or whatever. And then they brought up the whole thing about Vicki and at the jewelry store. And you remember when Vicki, they were out of town. I can't remember where they went, Napa or somewhere, and they went shopping and they were at this jewelry store, and there was like this, I think it was like a necklace or something. And I feel like Meghan was the one that wanted it. And Vicki had said something about, well, how would your husband feel if he knew you were out spending all his money or whatever? And Heather is just like, look, being a stay-at-home mom is hard. You know what I mean? And it's not like, you know, she was like, sometimes it's easier to go off to work. She's like, you know, you have all these responsibilities at home, so why not go out and get yourself a nice purse? And my feelings on that is that I think because Vicki has been the breadwinner, she was like kind of like the breadwinner in her first marriage with, well, that wasn't her first marriage, but in her marriage with Don. I don't know how her marriage with Don started off, but it ended off as her being a breadwinner, because when they got divorced, she even had to pay him like some alimony or settlement or something like that. She had to pay him. Which, you know what I'm saying? So I think she has a different view. And then, you know, too, coming from the Midwest, like, everybody that I know works. You know, Vicki's from the Chicago area. every woman that I know pretty much works. The women that don't work outside of the home and are, you know what I'm saying, take care of the kids at home, they still have like some kind of side hustle or whatever. You know, so I mean, I understand where Vicki is coming to an extent. You know what I mean? Coming from to an extent. But at the same time, it's not just his money. If they're married, they have children together, they have a family, they're both doing what they should do. The wife is at home taking care of the home and the kids. The husband is out making the money. She doesn't have to worry about bringing in any money. He doesn't have to worry about coming home to a messy house, to no food, to unorganized kids. You know what I mean? You know, and it is hard. I played a stay-at-home, you know what I'm saying, mom for a little while when my daughter was born, and I couldn't wait to get back to work. You know what I'm saying? I stayed home longer than normal. And I couldn't wait to get back to work. You know, my daughter was 6 months and I went back to work part-time, but I only did that for about 6 months. And then I did not work again full-time until she was 3 years old. So it is hard, you know, it's a lot. And then the expectations of stay-at-home moms is a little different. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, why do you have a messy house? You know what I'm saying? You're here all day. Well, you know, sometimes the kids are, you know, sometimes you're busy. You got a lot of activities to do and just different things. So I just don't like Vicki and also like some of the other ladies on these shows, you know, kind of downing the stay-at-home moms. I don't really like that at all. They bring up Meghan. Like this whole first part is about Meghan. So they bring up Meghan putting Haley on birth control and how Shannon had an issue with that. Shannon was saying she didn't really have an issue with her being on birth control. She had an issue with it being Meghan's decision, being that Meghan is not her biological mother. But at the time, Haley's like 17 years old, you know what I'm saying? Clearly, she must have told Meghan, because they had a conversation, so she must have told Meghan that, yes, I am having sex, and Meghan gave her the option to get on birth control or whatever. Which, I mean, her being the stepmother and being the one that is supposed to be stepping in, because Haley's mother at the time was sick. She's no longer living, but at the time she was living, but she was ill. I don't see anything wrong with Meghan doing that. You know what I'm saying? You have a 17-year-old. She's wild. She's not in school. She's in school, but she's not in school. And, you know what I mean? Like, and not even if being wild, you know, like this, I mean, that's just, sometimes that's what teenagers do. And do you want her, would you risk her to have a baby? You know what I'm saying? At 17, 18, 19 years old? Or do you want her to learn to be responsible for her body? I mean, I don't know. It's an individual decision. I myself, I'm okay with birth control. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't talking about like a 12 and 13-year-old because they really shouldn't be out there doing it. But I mean, there are some 12 and 13-year-olds out there doing it. So what do you do? I mean, I really don't know. I guess I will cross that bridge when I get there. Yeah, I don't know. But I don't really think it's anything wrong with the 16 or 17-year-old being on birth control at all. Because nobody want to be no 35-year-old, well, your kid, you shouldn't be 35 if your kid is 17, 18. But you know, nobody want to be no 45-year-old grandma. I don't want to be a grandma on this side of 60. I'm sorry. I don't. And it just is what it is. Then they start discussing Vicki and her finding out that her mother passed away. So they show clips of that. Andy asks her if she regrets having the cameras around during that time or whatever. And Vicki's like, you know what? No, I don't. This is my real life. You know, I didn't even realize the cameras were still there at the time. You know, I was going through that. But she was like, at the end of the day, I signed up for this reality show. And this is my real life. And I mean, I agree. Like, I mean, we watch reality TV to see people's real lives. And, you know, saying death is a part of life. Her mother was 88, 89 years old. So it wasn't like she was like, you know, saying a young person that died and, you know what I'm saying, maybe they feel like, you know, exploiting the story or whatever. But I mean, it's, you know, say your mother's, you know, almost 90 years old, you know, she's not going to live too much longer. She's on this reality show. I didn't see anything wrong with them showing it. I don't think that Vicki tried to use it as a storyline at all. She could use it as a storyline even if she wanted to, because the ladies were so obsessed with Brooks anyway. But I mean, it is what it is. It's real life. You don't know when someone's gonna die. You know what I'm saying? You could be on vacation, you could be in the middle of a birthday party, just like anything, and it happens, and it may not happen in a way that you want it to happen, but it happens. So Vicki was saying, it's real life, and I agree with her. It's real life. And then Andy asks her to share a funny story about her mother. So she starts talking about her mom having road rage, and she got arrested because it was like some guy on a motorcycle that was like riding her bumper. She gets out. They both get out. I guess it's probably like a shopping center or something. They both get out. He goes into one place. She goes into another place. But before she goes into the place, she walks by and keys his motorcycle. The guy sees her key, called the police. Her mama is in the bathroom, like trying to hide and shit. So her mama gets arrested. And had to pay, and was convicted, and had to pay $10,000 to get this man's Harley repainted. And I'm like, damn, $10,000 to get the damn motorcycle repainted? But I guess Harley Davidsons are expensive, whatever. But I just thought that was the funniest thing. At the time, she said her mom was probably like 80, which makes it even more funny. You know what I mean? Like that she's out here keying up people's cars. You know what I'm saying? So it was nice that she was able to tell a cute and funny story about her mom. I didn't like how the other ladies kept butting in though. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, it's Vicki's time. Let Vicki tell her story. I don't know. I just didn't like the other ladies butting in. And especially Tamara and then Shannon had said like it was kind of surreal because the producer said this and that. I just didn't want them to talk because I just didn't like the way they did Vicki this season. And like I said, Vicki is not innocent in any kind of way. But I just was really just annoyed, and I didn't want them talking during her segment. I don't know. I just didn't. And it was annoying to me. And so then they move on from that. What else did they talk about? Did they talk about anything in between there? I don't think so. I think they moved on from that, and they just started talking about how funny it is when the ladies order food at a restaurant. They had like Heather ordering a hamburger with no bun. Now I have done that plenty of times, so I am not going to laugh at her about that, because if you are low carbing, then you can't eat the bun. So you still can eat the hamburger and all the fixings. You just can't have the bun. So I done went to Culver's plenty of times because they're really the only fast food place around here that I know that'll do it and do it right. And you know what I'm saying? They make my burger without the bun. They put it in a little box. You know what I'm saying? And I come home and I eat it. And it tastes so good. I love Culver's burgers. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily eat the bun, that big old thick ass bun they give you, I didn't see anything wrong with that. They talked about Shannon. And I even talked about Shannon during the season, the way she orders food. Like, first of all, she screams when she orders the food. She looks over her glasses like, and I guess the glasses makes her talk louder or whatever. But it was kind of funny. It was a funny segment. Most of it, of course, had to do with Shannon because she is so picky about every little thing that she puts in her body. This goes into Shannon, like they asked Shannon about the vinegar on the dressing or whatever. This goes into her talking about yeast and her gut. Like, it is just TMI. I'm so over Shannon and all of her phobia, not necessarily phobias, but just her. She takes this whole like green, not even green living. I mean, I don't really know what kind of living she's doing. She says she practices she is on a yeast-free diet. She says that she has all this crazy stuff in her house, like these air filters and go to Dr. Moon for these acupuncture sessions. You know what I'm saying, once a week, and it's like a little weird to me. I don't know why. I mean, to each his own, but she just seems a little obsessive with it. And her whole personality this season, like, I liked her. And you know what? I think I'm just being biased because I just really didn't like the way she treated Vicki. So I feel like everything that Shannon does now irritates the hell out of me. And it's not even that I'm always on Vicki's side either. It's just, I just didn't like the way that the season played out with everybody. So, you know what? I'm going to hold off my comments on Shannon until they get to her segment. They didn't get to her segment last night on the reunion. But she's still annoying. She starts talking about the fact that she did a colonic that morning, one of those stupid colonics where she thought that she had the plastic stuck up her butt or whatever. And Heather's just like, well, maybe you shouldn't be doing so many colonics. And she's like, I only do like one every few months. I'm like, girl, please. I'm sure you probably do a colonic every damn morning. But yeah, she just gives too much information. Just too much information. Nobody wants to know. Not even her damn husband wants to know what's going on with her half the time. Then they started talking about Tamara and the hard time that she was going through last season. And I guess she didn't want to talk about it last season. She was going through her whole custody battle and just issues with Simon. But she discusses the fact that her oldest daughter, Sophia, I think is her name. One of her kids is named Sophia, and I think it is the oldest one. Hold on, you guys, I'm thirsty. Y'all see this big ass wine glass I got? I got this for my birthday. I'm like, hey, see, my sister-in-law filled this up with like all my little candies, the mini candies. She had like Butterfinger and Kit Kat and Twix, the little mini ones in here, and a little bowl and stuff. I thought that was so cute. And it's a wine glass. It's huge. Oh my God. Like I can like drink this for a while, you know? Anyways, what the hell was I talking about? That went all off. So she talks about, I think Sophia's her oldest. And she just basically talks about the fact that Sophia hasn't lived with her in 2 years because I guess Sophia feels like Tamara is the culprit in all of this and in the whole divorce and everything. She feels like Tamara ruined her dad's life. And so Tamara says she left and she never came back. She went to her dad's and she never came back. She and Tamara don't talk or anything like that. I think she testified against Tamara in court, probably about how bad of a mother Tamara is, because I think that's what they were going to court about, the custody and everything. And the judge just basically, I guess Tamara said the judge just basically said that she was 17 and she was old enough to pick who she wanted to live with. Because this isn't one of their like smaller kids. Well, actually, all of their kids I'm thinking are a little older now. Because, this show's been on for 10 years. And Tamara, I think, started on the second season or maybe the third season. So Tamara's been on here like 8 or 9 years, so she's had, we've had time for her kids to grow up. We don't see her children anymore since her and Simon got divorced, and I guess he doesn't want the kids on the show. But her kids are practically adults now. It's kind of sad, because going into becoming a young woman, you need your mother, to guide you and different things. But then, I don't know what kind of guidance you're going to get from Tamara. But, it is her mother. So, hopefully that relationship works itself out. Because that's really sad. I couldn't imagine that. And, even for someone like Tamara, who I cannot stand. But at the end of the day, she loves her children. And I'm sure she'd do anything for her children. So I'm sure she was crying and everything. So I couldn't even imagine that, my child telling me that I'm a horrible person. They don't want to live with me anymore. It's one thing for us and, the viewers of the show to talk about Tamara, but we don't see her, being a mother anymore like we did in the first few seasons. And when she was in mommy mode, and she seemed to be a great mother, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's sad. So I really hope that situation works itself out. Then we get Tamara says that, becoming a Christian and getting baptized and starting to go to church and everything really helped her through it. I guess some lady came into Cut Fitness one day and said she had been reading about Tamara in the news and the things that she was going through and asked Tamara to come to church with her. And I guess that's how Tamara, started her walk with Jesus, whatever. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, I think that's what you say. Anyways, so Andy's like, well, since we're on the topic, Alexis Bellino wrote in an email. And I'm like, oh my God, no, my girl Alexis. Y'all know I love me some Alexis. That is my girl. I still follow her on social media. I love to see her pictures and just, I really, really like Tamara. I really, really liked Alexis, I felt like she wasn't a shit starter. She may be a little dingy up in the clouds, but she definitely was not a malicious person. She didn't have a malicious bone in her body. She really didn't. So I guess she wrote in and wanted Andy to read this email to Tamara, and it basically just the gist of the letter was she feels like Tamara is making a mockery of Christianity because Alexis and her husband are very religious. And so she felt like people were making a or that Tamara is making a mockery of Christianity and using it for like a storyline and entertainment and things like that. And I was really shocked that Alexis sent that letter, honestly. Now, I can kind of feel her on it though, because Tamara was just horrible to her. Like, Tamara was just horrible to Alexis for no reason. No reason at all. Like, they started out friends when Alexis first came on the show. And then, like, it just all turned for the worse. And it didn't seem like there was a good reason for it to me. I guess just maybe because Alexis and her husband were still friendly with Tamara's ex-husband, Simon. I don't know. It just went way left. And I wasn't expecting it to go so far left. But anyways, I definitely wasn't expecting Alexis to write that letter. I don't know why she would write a letter like that. That was kind of mean, honestly. And I just wouldn't expect that from her. But she's still my girl, so it's okay. That's really how the episode went off, There was probably some other little scenes. I didn't put them down in my notes because they probably weren't that important. The episode, like I said, was pretty boring, but it is what it is. I definitely feel like next week is going to be a lot better because Brooks is going to come on. Brianna's going to be there with her annoying ass, and we're going to find out some more stuff about why Brianna doesn't like Brooks and just different things like that. So I'm looking forward to seeing next week's reunion show, you guys. I'm sorry. I hope this video wasn't that boring. It wasn't really that exciting, and I couldn't really make it exciting. And plus, I just had to chastise my damn daughter, because she just did some stuff, and I came down here with a bad attitude. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. That is it. Until next time, please stay real, stay safe, and stay tuned to Mika Chanel Is Just Saying. Bye-bye.